Alright? Or you think you can handle yourself in a shootout or in a war situation just because you got a controller in your hand. No, that shit, when you got real bullets flying at you, alright? Just remember, you ain't got no fucking respawn, alright? So let me read this. Second Ezra 15 and 14 says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another with swords in their hand. Going back to Matthew the 24th chapter, alright? Which the swords represent? It's talking about guns, alright? Or arms, okay? You're going to have people standing up to fight against each other. You're going to have race wars. You're going to have class wars. You're going to have patriot crackers versus what they will call like a sellout cracker. Alright? You're going to have all kind of people fighting against each other. Isaiah the 19th chapter says that he's going to turn the Egyptians against the Egyptians. Alright? So it's going to be all out chaos and war here in America. Okay? Verse 16, for there shall be sedition amongst men, and invading one another. They should not regard their kings nor princes, and the courses of their actions shall stand in their power. And like I always say when I bring this out, like in that movie Independence Day, when them chariots came, right, and they're just sitting above these cities, people were running, okay, and you had this scene with this guy, I forget the actor's name, but he played the president, and he basically said, look, let's evacuate the cities in an orderly fashion. And what happened? It cut right to a scene where people were running for their lives and looting and shit. When Jeff Goldblum went to his friend's house, basically to get him out of the city, or go into the city rather, he came to the door with a shotgun because he knows that people out there going nuts. They ain't gonna hear anything that for the president. If Obama, that asshole, is still alive, or some politician or some government official, they ain't gonna hear shit. People ain't gonna hear shit they got to say. They're just gonna be looking out for them. Alright? It says, verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. What's that simply put? Martial law. Alright? You ain't gonna be able to go from city to city, or county to county, or state to state, just get up and leave. That ain't gonna happen. They're gonna have these cities locked down, especially these ghettos and these urban areas. Alright? And a lot of these urban areas, the way they got these cities designed, all they gotta do is block off 1 and 2 points. Alright? Block off 2 highways, 2 points on a highway, 3 points out of 4 points at a highway, and you got the people locked down. Okay? I know I can say that for the neighborhood I stay in, that's for sure. Alright? It says, verse 18, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Alright, now let me actually let me get the Bible real quick and get the scripture, because this is because of their pride. This is one of the elders Bakaw's favorite scriptures. It's 2 Ezra 8 verse 50. It says, for many great misery shall be done to them that in the latter times, talking about the times we're living in now, shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. Okay, because these people here are proud. The so-called white man, he's the biggest proud. Him, well, he's really contending with the so-called black woman for that trophy in terms of pride goes. Alright, but you got the so-called white people, these other nations, and 2/3 of our own people. Alright, I mentioned the black woman is proud as hell here in America, because they're living at ease for the most part, you know, but that's about to come to an end. But it's them troubles are going to hit because they have lived at ease and they live proudly. Alright, black women getting all these damn perks and benefits, while the black man and the Latino man, North American Indian man are out there struggling. Okay, it says read this again, verse 18, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Alright, you're gonna have a lot of destruction here before the final destruction comes, before America's final destination hits. You're gonna have a lot of destruction here. You're gonna have a lot of destroyed cities, destroyed neighborhoods. Alright, because there's gonna be a lot of people basically looking to get theirs. We're gonna read it. It says, Verse 19, and man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of a lack of bread and for great tribulation. Alright? Because there's going to be a famine, an actual food famine. Alright? That famine of the word is coming, but there's going to be an actual famine as far as food. Alright? As far as water, as nutrients. Alright? Getting something to eat. That's just going to be rare in that day. It's going to be scarce. Now the men of the Lord, according to scripture, they're going to be taken care of. Alright? They're going to eat and drink and be alright, get what they need for that time. That Jacob's trouble, which going, that's the next scripture. Alright? But you other people, you 2/3, and you enemies of the Lord, alright? Y'all ain't going to be alright. You're going to be held in derision in that time. Why? Because you walked in great pride. You didn't want to take heed to the Lord's prophets warning you of the coming destruction, the fall of the so-called white man. You didn't want to hear none of that. You didn't want to hear them telling you how to get right to the best of your ability and keep the laws to the best of your ability. Alright? Remember who you are as a people. You didn't want to remember none of that. Well, when the time comes, you're just going to get left out there. And you're going to get your ass jacked up and then killed. Alright? Now, let's go to the next scripture I mentioned, Jacob's trouble. Jeremiah 30:7, okay? Let's read through this real quick, because their time is coming. Jacob's trouble is coming. It's well on the way, alright? Read it real quick. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Who's going to be saved out of it? It's not going to be all of Israel, all of Jacob. It's going to be the elect. Alright? Those whom the Most High have chosen from the foundation of the earth. Those are the ones going to make it. Those that are out there making their bodies a living sacrifice, preaching the word. Okay? Those are the ones going to make it. Alright? Lord willing, the elders, all the camps, Lord willing, we all are those chosen to make it up out of here. Because it's going to be a real bad time coming. Alright? Jacob's trouble is not going to be a pleasant thing. I suggest, to whoever's watching this video, if you haven't seen movies like The Book of Eli or The Road, or older movies like I mentioned, Mad Max Thunderdome, or some other movies dealing with times of trouble like that, suggest you check those movies out. Children of Men, that's another good movie. Blade Runner, I suggest you check movies like that out, because those times are coming. It's going to be real bad here in America real soon. So while that window of grace and mercy is still open, I suggest you jump in and do what you can and try to get right to the best of your ability now, because once it's closed, that's it. Alright? Let's read 2 more scriptures and then finished. Alright? Scroll down just a bit. Back in 2nd Ezra, it says, 2nd Ezra 5 and 8, there shall be confusion also in many places. Babylon, which talked about, which means confusion. There's confusion all over the place here in America, alright? And the fire shall be off sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places. Alright, that's why you had during the summer all these wildfires breaking out in places like Cali and Colorado. Alright? Just breaking out. And then in turn chasing all those animals out of those places. And they end up in cities, and you hear and you're gonna hear about people getting ate up by them bears and wolves and mountain lions and shit. Okay? Coyotes, all that. Alright? It says that menstruous women shall bring forth monsters, talking about these niggas running around crazy. Alright? You don't even need to go too deep into that. Alright? Verse 9, and salt water shall be found and sweet. What's that mean? When all this shit happens, when that austerity comes to America, because there is talks about austerity, plans of austerity that have been seen overseas. There's talks about that hitting as early as next January, okay, or the coming January rather, which is next year, because the Republicans basically got things sewed up right now. All right. It says, and salt water shall be found sweet, meaning whatever plan these so-called these crackers or Obama or whoever come up with, they think they're gonna think it's gonna